Alright, we're trying out some Naya vehicles. We got a couple of vehicles. We got Funeral Longboat here, as well as Esika's Chariot. And what these allow us to do, along with Sentinels, is they allow us to tap Brazen Outlaw outside of combat to generate tokens. So we can then get to 5 tokens to fish up a Star of the Mounts or something like Icing Death here. The backside, Augusta, the Dean of Order, says, whenever you attack, untap each creature you control, then tap any number of creatures you control. So this allows us to get 2 treasure activations in a single turn with Magda, which is sweet to kind of get to these. This is like a 3-drop on our curve too, so our curve looks pretty good with that to get to our dragons faster. We've also got some other decent, just kind of like Priest of Ancient Lore. Looks a little bit medium on the surface, but it does replace itself, so its floor is relatively high. And this is just like more bodies to crew things like Longboat. So we're playing the vehicles as ways to tap things like this. So let's go ahead and dive on into some games with this and see if this feels like it's reasonable enough to keep up with what other people have going on. It is also a dwarf, right? Yeah. Magda works with other dwarves. So good synergy there. We played blue-black or Grixis Control yet. We have not. Giant Control. Can you post a deck list in chat? Just link it up on Goldfish or somewhere, or Untapped. I was thinking about Glimpse of the Cosmos earlier today. Seems pretty good. I think we're Skyclaving that, huh? Oh. Oh, that's better. Look at how long our boat is, chat. I would be very surprised if that deck is playable in this format, Terran Terror. Which is why all the people being worried about it and thinking it could be oppressive are really funny to me. We're just into this, right? Muse of Castmere. Thanks for 11 months. It's been decent. I don't know if the current deck we're playing is particularly good, but we've played a range of things that have felt decent. They cast that on turn 4 through a land destruction. I think that was their 5th turn. Was that turn 4? No, that was their turn 5, right? Because I hadn't played a land yet. They were on the play. No, was I on the play that game? No, I was on the draw because I shocked their ramp spell on 2. I mean, like, casting your 7 mana bomb should be really good. Lukewarm take. Like, 7 mana's, like, Koma's mana amount is the spot where, like, you should start having game-ending cards that have a high power level. Huh? I think I longboat first so I can attack as a 4/4 next turn. Grixis Snow Dragons. You can't just say words like Grixis Snow Dragons in chat and not post a deck list, Steve. It's illegal. Thanks for the follows, Spud Muffin and GG Power. Feeling our 3rd color here. So it's one of the reasons why I hadn't pulled the Bant deck up yet. I am skeptical that 3 colors works in this format. They flew over our boat, chat. Augusta with the vehicles is kind of sweet. Yes, I think this is probably the best aggro card in the format. I think is accurate to say. That's lethal, right? Is that Xaxes? It's Xaxes. Oh, that I have reach technically. But then I don't have red mana next turn and we're just dead still. Definitely felt our mana base there. Had we been able to work our shock into the curve, we would have killed the Luminarch and then we'd have been A-okay. Would have survived a lot longer. Net decks for Standard 22. My channel, other channels like Crokies or Ali Andrazi, who's casting with me this weekend. CGB has been doing Standard 2022 content. There's been a couple of Standard 2022 tournaments on MTG Melee already, run by Insight Esports. One happened last night that had 80 players. You can look at some deck lists from. That tournament was mostly blue-red dragons, though. As a heads up. A couple of spicier ones in there, but a lot of dragons. I think I want a Plargg to start here, because this gives us our best chance to hit the 3rd land drop next turn. If you're looking to net deck a sweet deck to play in the Hoaglandia Open on Sunday, there's going to be, speaking of Insight's hosting another tournament tomorrow that I think I'm going to play in tomorrow afternoon. Just like play Augusta. Just play Augusta. Hey, what's going on, Insight? Attack with my 2-3. Mock! Thanks for the follow. I would assume that the fall set is going to add the dual land cycle for the colors that we're missing, would be my guess. So we have extra dual lands for 5 of the pairs right now. I'll bet we'll get the other 5 in the fall. Oh, Burns Babe, thanks for ripping for the 2nd month. Welcome back. So we could start building up one of our Dorkos. I think I'm holding this land to rummage through, though. Yeah, maybe I'm supposed to trade one of my 2 for the Pretender there. That's exactly correct, kid. There are 3 different dungeons, and when you venture, you can enter whichever one you please. I get to trade for this plus a shock now, though. Right. Okay. Okay, we're cooking with gas. So you get to Skyclave this War Master. Man, these Death Touchers, chat. Yep. Hey, Ella Johnny, thanks for the 15 months. Welcome back. So this is gonna let them shrink and kill a lot of our board next turn. So we do this. We do this. We'll put a counter on this, and they can only kill one of our 3 things when they attack here. Desert Doom. Like Sweet Steve, thanks for the link. I just need to preserve my life total. I want to shrink their board here a little bit. Into top decks now. Okay, I mean, we technically have the board stabilized, so... Harold. Bring in the elves, chat. Harold! Get the elves, Harold! Yikes. Alright. Well... Their top deck confirmed a little bit better than ours. We are not a cleric deck. We are a vehicles deck, and if you want to see the current deck list, it'll be on the on-screen overlay here momentarily. Untapped is working again. So one of the things that's tough to measure, and also shout out to MTG Melee for getting their stuff updated so quickly, is because that first tournament on MTG Melee was freeform, the decks aren't sorted into archetypes. So there was a lot of blue-red dragons at the top of the field, but I would bet blue-red dragons was overrepresented in the tournament as a whole, just because it's an archetype that ported over cleanly from existing standard with minimal changes. So everybody that had a normal standard deck could very easily just queue up and play that. Okay, so I think we shock this, play the Brazen Outlaw, and start getting treasures. This is our first time drawing our dwarf. The flexibility on Behold is really powerful, Steve. I think I give up a treasure here to Skyclave this. Look at our efficient removal, chat. Magda does a little jig here. Oh, look at all of our prices. This is the other part of this combo, too, though, is like, by the time we get it set up, do we even need to find a dragon? Yeah. Doc Bop, thanks for the follow. Good afternoon. I think, from a design perspective, this latest set is phenomenal. Honestly, just the entire last year's worth of sets have been pretty on point from a flavor and design perspective. I have two complaints about the current format only. The first is, please give me best of 3. The second is, extra turn spells mostly suck in every iteration. Alduin's Epiphany could stand to go away. And in general, there's definitely more good than bad. So we get to go Sentinel into Brazen Outlaw into Luminarch. Our start's kind of absurd here, huh? Hey, your move, Yugi boy. I don't know where I'm supposed to put that counter. There's arguments to putting it everywhere. Well, and I know this is gonna hurt you. You're saying Ikoria was bad because Mutate wasn't particularly interesting and Companion was a mess. I'd agree with you, and then I would point out when I say sets from the last year, that doesn't include Ikoria. Ikoria was more than a year ago. I know everything post-COVID time becomes kind of blurry, but... That was sweet. Glad we got to have at least one game, a couple of games where we really popped off. Yeah, I agree, Steve. There's... If if your deck is capable of making blue mana in Standard, it should probably have 4 copies of Alduin's Epiphany in it, is the cold, brutal truth of the current format. You don't like the interaction of Faceless Haven and the You Can't Lose the Game? Stop it. Listen, chat. If you can't win the game before turn 6, and you can't kill a creature at instant speed, and you can't kill an artifact, you deserve to lose the game to their deck locking you out. Your deck is bad, and you should feel bad about your deck. You shouldn't feel bad about their slow, clunky combo that they beat you with. Because their combo is, in fact, very slow and very clunky. And if you put an ounce of reasonable interaction in your deck, or played anything close to resembling a reasonable aggro deck, it really wouldn't be a problem. No, I'm not even telling you to, like, be unreasonable. Like, you don't even need to play land destruction. Like, yes, once they get set up, land destruction is required, but the point to getting set up is incredibly difficult and non-trivial. I mean, like, for people that are comparing it to Stax decks, like, you've never played against a Stax deck, I don't think. Like, they're not stopping you from playing the game. They just eventually have a thing that locks you out. They don't slow, like, Stax decks slowly put people in a stranglehold. That's not what that deck does. It's more of a combo deck than a prison deck. Prison combo, I guess, but like traditional prison decks like slowly are a slow burn towards locking you out. These are anything but. And if you're not sure what deck we're talking about, check out the Book Prison deck from yesterday on my YouTube channel. You'll watch us win a number of games with it, but you'll also watch us just get run OVER in a number of games because the deck, as I mentioned, is kind of slow and kind of clunky. Huh, so if they have an untapped land next turn, they're gonna get to activate Dragonkin Berserker, which they're pretty likely to with that. My first game of the set was against Faceless Haven Lockout, and I basically beat it down with a mono white starter deck. Thanks for the Prime Vermis. Yeah, like, you don't even, it's not like it's even happening on turn 4, right? Like, if it was locking people out really quickly, I would understand and, like, would sympathize, but, like, it's not particularly fast. Yes, yeah, I also saw people saying, a number of people complaining about it were people that were like, I'm not gonna concede. I'm gonna make my opponent play it out. It's important that they play it out and they lock me out of the game and I can no longer win. It's like, no, you're a perpetuant child and you're miserable because you're acting like a child. But like, if you enjoy making them play it out, sure, have your fun, but like, if you making them play it out makes you frustrated, the only person you're beating is yourself. You have no one to complain about but you. Okay, so we'll block here. And we'll put these two in front of here, which lets them eat it. But it also means they don't get to boast, so I think that's fine. If you like playing mid-range or control decks in Historic, I expect the creature lands to be very good in both those style of decks. Most of our Historic next week will be me shoving creature lands into various Historic decks that I like. So, in fact, one of my buddies asked me, Jeff, should I buy packs from this set? And my response to him was, if you only want to play Historic, I would just spend rare wild cards on the creature lands that you want, and Demi-Lich if you're interested in it, but this set will not have a meaningful impact on Historic. So if you're someone that isn't into rotating formats, it's really sweet for the standard format, but it's not particularly amazing or exciting for Historic. Which is a good thing. For reference, standard sets not having an impact on non-rotating formats is a huge thumbs up. As someone who's played Magic for the better part of a decade, that's how it's supposed to be. Better part of 2 decades, sorry. God, how old am I? Yeah, better part of 2 decades. Non-rotating formats staying mostly the same between set releases is a feature, it is not a bug. Chat, don't do this. Don't play Faceless Haven in your deck with Pathways and other creature lands. I agree that Faceless Haven is a higher power level than the creature lands out of this set if you can activate it. But you're not activating it consistently in your 2-color deck like this. You're just not. I don't think you're likely to need 4 of all of the creature lands. And again, it depends on which mid-range decks you want to play. I wouldn't say, oh, you should craft full playsets now. You'll definitely use full playsets, but you will likely craft them at some point in Historic if you're playing mid-range and control decks there. Turtle the Turtle, thanks for the 13 months. Welcome back. Pancake Sedok, thanks for the follow. Welcome to the channel. In fact, during downtime, so I'm planning to stream the Insight event tomorrow afternoon, and I don't usually do entertaining things between the rounds. Maybe we'll play some Pokemon Go battles. But in addition to doing some Pokemon Go between rounds, I will probably update a bunch of the mid-range decks on my website to have a bunch of creature lands in them. So if they don't kill the Brazen Outlaw here, we're going to get to diddle Magda at end of turn with the Cadillac here. And then we'll diddle her again with the Cadillac next turn, giving us 5 treasures. Yeah, I'm going to play the black-red mid-range deck we played earlier today. Oh no, chat! They're shattering my Cadillac. And Magda flunked her test! Man! Everything went to crap all at the same time, chat. She's not known for her study habits, yep. Thankfully, the Cadillac leaves some friends behind here, so. We are dead to a shock because they have the eye. Nope, they tapped off a red, though. Oh, you know what? This is a small thing, but I should have attacked with Skyclave Apparition and a cat because they showed us that they have Soul Shatter. And Soul Shatter kills Skyclave but does not kill a cat currently. It's a small thing here. But one to note that I messed up. Doesn't the land have Menace? No? Oh my gosh, it does have Menace! Chat, I can't read. I'm a Magic player. Chat, I've never tried to block this card before. Alright, I need to run to the bathroom really quick. When I get back, we're gonna play some more Naya Cadillac. BRB. Messipos, thanks for the follow. Good afternoon. Sorry about that. Reading is busted. It is. I expect reading to be nerfed in the next balance patch. Afternoon Bald Man Express. Do I qualify for that, or do I still have too much hair? Do I get to go on the express lane? Sure. So, Magda, obviously best possible draw here. That actually gives us a decent curve here, though, too, because we get to go land into Luminarch, into Shockter Aspirant. Being on the play is pretty good, chat. Okay. Let me go ahead and kill that to use our resources efficiently here. Maybe I'm supposed to play her and attack with this and then play Ranger class. I can see that being correct. Yeah, Melee added support for the format to their website last night. It's fantastic. Afternoon Habs, thanks for the follow. Welcome to the channel. Been a few new follows this afternoon. If you're just dropping in for the first time, welcome. My name is Jeff Hoagland. I stream full-time here on Twitch. Do Magic the Gathering as my primary source of content at least 5 days a week. We have a big focus on Constructed around here. We do some Modern on Magic Online. We're going to be doing Standard 22 as long as that's fun on Magic Arena. And then we also do plenty of Historic as well. Usually play 3 to 5 different decks every single day that I stream, and all of the decks that have decent runs that I think are worth watching end up on my YouTube channel. So if you're looking for a great source of kind of off-meta deck lists, that's a great place to check out. Magda here, triggering on these being dwarves, which is great. Working us up towards casting our Inferno for 8 mana. Priest looking real good alongside the Brazen Outlaw here. Oh, they locked us out of casting this next turn. That's cute. To put a counter on this one, so they can all attack into the Skyclave here. And then the boat's a decent draw, because it lets us diddle Magda on their turn to get the 5th treasure, to get another dragon out of our deck. Little unfortunate that we only have 1 Inferno. Maybe there should just be 2 Infernos in our deck and not have the silly Ice Dragon. Perhaps it's just right to go all in on the biggest one. Well, I couldn't hardcast this last turn because my opponent had it was on academic probation. He's just not a very good student, chat. He's trying his best, but he keeps ending up on probation. He's gotta turn his life around here. Oh, this gets artifacts, too. Forgot about that. I definitely want the Frost Tyrant to trade with their flyer here, but... Oh, wait. This is just lethal on the backswing, right? Yeah, JK. I almost flubbed it, chat. I almost flubbed it. We would have killed them last turn if we had another Inferno in our deck, so I'm gonna put another Inferno in our deck, I think. Hey, thanks for the almost 4 years, Zach. New cards hype indeed. Standard 2022 has been sweet. It's exciting to have a slightly powered down format. I actually got some good quality of life improvements in Magic Arena 2. The buttons on the cards are really nice. Did some deck building on my iPad last night. It was much better than it used to be. Speaking of cleave, it's so refreshing to play these aggro mirrors and not have to worry about anybody cleaving you. The board states mattering is really nice. So I don't have white mana here clearly, but if Sentinel lives with the Brazen Outlaw, we're in a decent spot. Now, credit where credit is due on the iPad update. My Magic Arena on the iPad did crash on me 2 times in 5 games before I stopped playing, so, you know. Oh, did I say credit? I meant to appropriately throw Magic Arena under the bus where it belongs. Sorry, I think I stuttered. Apologies. Oh no, I could have cast this turn, right? I wasn't thinking about the thing they gave me. That's actually kind of funny. It's actually, like, super funny. Spring Light and Entor, good afternoon. Did WotC fix the thing that broke the overlays? I don't believe that's been fixed yet. Untapped found a workaround to get access to some of the things. So the current board state as well as the deck list is accessible via the overlay, but you still can't click on things like the graveyard, unfortunately. WotC, it did acknowledge that that was an unintended bug and not an intentional removal of a thing that people use, though, so we should be getting that back at some point in the hopefully not too distant future. I think our opponent is disconnected here, unfortunately. They fixed binding in today's patch. Sweet. Yeah. Actually, so it's funny, Jin. I don't know if you follow me on Twitter, but Cardboard Live, the previous overlay that we used, they tweeted that it was going to take them almost a week to add the cards from this latest expansion to their thing. And I mentioned that people should probably move to Untapped if they want software that's updated quickly. And they blocked me because I suggested people do that. This is really funny. Time to crisis. I mean, people and companies should block whoever they want for whatever reason they want. Social media is free and time's expensive. But, like, you know, at one point, for people that don't remember, I was literally sending their people messages for over a month trying to get Historic Anthology 4 cards added to their client. So, like, it wasn't like a one-time thing. It wasn't like I was saying, hey, you should leave Cardboard Live because they're having a week delay this one time. It was a, hey, this is a constant thing, and this other product is better because they update in a reasonable amount of time. And obviously, you shouldn't assume someone's code base without looking at it, but if however their software is programmed, if adding new cards to it isn't a simple database or dictionary reference or JSON file update, their software is coded in a way that's really shitty. If I was maintaining a project that worked like Untapped or Cardboard Live, I would simply have a command that updated automatically with the press of a button. I would press the button every set release and then do a quick validation manually to make sure it worked out. Yes, I even offered, for people who aren't familiar with me, I have a background in software development. I offered to do some of the work for them just because I wanted a working overlay, and they ignored me. Yeah, they probably, the fact that it took effort to get updated, they probably didn't want an outsider looking at whatever mess of their code base is. That's probably accurate. I think we lead the longboat here. Got her. I'm just crewing the longboat again, right? Unfortunately, we're missing land drops here. I mean, Untapped has a lot of good features. But as something of a magic boomer myself, like, I don't use them. Like, I occasionally click on the deck button to look at, like, what are the odds I draw land next turn for a reference point to talk about on stream, but outside of that, I don't really use the features. They're nice if you're someone that would use them. They seem nice. It's just not something that I personally utilize. Okay, we're gonna get this ball rolling here. We've got some treasures. It's looking like we could be in a reasonable spot until my opponent casts 2 time warps next turn and then kills us. Hey, look, second dragon, and now this time warp is castable for the 6 mana their treasures make. Listen, Zach, don't you look at me like you've never cast a Phyrexian Rager in your life before. This card is like strictly better Phyrexian Rager. It gains a life instead of losing a life. It's so good. Yeah, he's a dwarf. He triggers Magda. Sure. Brazen Outlaw into the Dean of Order. Are we on the draw? Let's draw a Sentinel on one. If we draw a Sentinel on one, this hand's the nuts. So, the data that a site like Untapped provides is valuable on the whole, looking at everything. However, just having access to my own personal data isn't particularly useful or helpful or actionable because the sample sizes are statistically insignificant. So I like being able to look at their global rates. I don't mind contributing to them, but making decisions off of a little bit of information is often worse than making decisions off of no information. You can't make a data-driven decision off of statistically insignificant stuff. At least not a good... You can, it just won't be a good decision, I guess I should say. Hey, diddle diddle. The Magda and the Fiddle. They made some treasures right here. You gonna, like, draw 2, scry 2 here? I think if you asked me, Jeff, call out one thing you see people do wrong with stats consistently, it is a lot of people make the assumption that making a decision off of a little bit of data is ideal compared to no data, when ideally you just, like, nothing is often... You could lead yourself to making mistakes off of small things like that. Yeah, when your confidence interval is plus or minus 40%, it's like, well, you know. It is, Jubs, but what I'm saying is making the conscious choice, oh, I'm going to make this decision based off my sample size of 6 matches or whatever, as opposed to instead asking yourself, okay, I need to extrapolate this information and think about it a little bit more. What's the context with it, etc. How often does this, the big question you ask yourself a lot when looking at small sample sizes is, based on your experience with Magic, how often is what just occurred going to be the norm? Did someone high roll? Did you high roll? Did they high roll? What happened there specifically? Tapping the Dean doesn't do anything. Oh, she doesn't impact herself. Sure, you should technically leave her untapped. You're correct. I mean, Kakar is a pretty good draw here. Man. So close and so far away. Come on, Magda off the top. Magda number 3. All right, Cadillac, go to work. Third Shadow with Verdict. If they don't have third Shadow's Verdict, we could maybe be ahead here. Okay. So we Ranger class, and then we level Ranger class, and then we animate this and attack for a 5/5. Copy the wolf token, put a counter on here. Yeah, Shadow's Verdict's the black sweeper that's left in the format. Do I want a Funeral Longboat? I don't think so. I think I'm gonna rummage that, because if we find a shock, they die, right? I guess I could also just activate this to cast it. Huh? My treasures aren't really doing a whole lot at this current point, right? Would I rather rummage the boat or get a random? It's kind of similar, because the boat's so bad. gonna rummage the boat. We could get a shock. And even if they have another verdict here, there's a chance that Ranger's class lets us pop off a little bit. Hopefully they've got a bunch of counter spells in their hand and they're gonna die here. Should we have played the Sentinel for reach? No, I don't think so. Good chance they have a counterspell here. I am going to play red-black mid-range in the tournament I am playing tomorrow, because that was fun today. Sad. Actually, am I supposed to do that? I'm just supposed to attack with 4 2/2s, right? I think power word kill is a good choice in historic. Yeah, probably. I think power word kill is really bad in standard 22, but it's probably decent in historic. Okay, got me. Johnny the Bish, thanks for the half a year. Welcome back. Seems worse than most Doomblade variants. Instead of just telling me I'm wrong, Brazen, can you explain why? Can you show some of your homework and cite your sources? What devils, angels, and dragons are you commonly playing against in popular decks in historic? There's exactly Sprite Dragon, but Sprite Dragon also dodges things like Heartless Act and often is too big for Flunk. So, any other reason, or do you just like telling people they're wrong without any justification? What important historic staples do you feel power word kill is missing? Yeah, Mayhem Devil's not super popular anymore. And Doomblade misses Mayhem Devil too. Bant Angels isn't particularly popular. Maybe if you're playing Best of One, that makes it a bad choice, but honestly, if you're playing Best of One, an interactive black deck's probably a bad choice anyways. Sure, but like, the point is, Brazen, it's not even about my comment. If you're going to tell someone in chat they're wrong, explain why. Don't just be like, no, that's wrong. Say, no, that's wrong, and this is why I think it could potentially be wrong. Generate a discussion. Don't just say things as like, I am the authority of Magic the Gathering, and I say that removal spell is bad. You must trust me. Trust me, I know things. I should give the asterisk, and I know that this is confusing while we're currently playing Best of One Standard 22, but if a format has a Best of 3 queue on Magic Arena, you should assume that any context I'm giving to formats applies specifically to Best of 3 only, and I ignore Best of 1 generally. I agree with Cheesy Pastries. I think it's open enough that all the Doomblade variants are plus or minus in different spots. And honestly, it comes down to which decks do you want your Doomblade variants against, right? Like, Gruul aggro, for example. Power Word Kill kills everything in Gruul, right? Are there any devils, demons, or whatever that see play in Gruul, or am I correct? You know, I kind of want Luminarch to die more. I want this to die less than this, so I'm going to lead on the Luminarch as bait here. Gruul does not play Haven, no. There's not room for a snow creature deck in, or snow creature land in Gruul. Man, Gruul probably wants creature lands too, huh? The Bugbear land's probably really good in Gruul. Some Gruul decks do top end to Glorybringer, but I think that's less often than not. I think we're probably dead at this point. We stumbled a bit, and the opponent got at a very reasonable start. Is the part where they start taking extra turns. This is the part where they play a second dragon. This is exactly what happened earlier, right? They played second dragon, had 6 mana from treasures, took a turn, and we died. Yay! Extra turn spells! Yay! Magic! Woo! Turn spells! It's not that your original message came off as rude, it came off as lazy, and I'd rather just have no comment rather than lazy comments. But like, even based on your own list there, a lot of those things aren't particularly common, and most of the things you list are like, for example, let's compare Power Word Kill to Doomblade, which would be an attractive alternative. Doomblade also misses Spawn of Mayhem, Korvald, and Mayhem Devil. So like, it's not just a clean cut, okay, this is like, you know, these other options are better. They're all missing something. Yeah, Doomblade also misses 5-color Niv, just like Power Word Kill. So, I think we Magda plus Sentinel since you're. Before I drew the Sentinel, I think I was gonna lead on Priest here, but with the Sentinel, we just get her down. Walk the Plank would actually be really good if it was an instant. My dwarves, chat! Look at the way they massacred my dwarves! Punished for playing out the Sentinel. If we'd have had a second dwarf, there would have been two treasures per turn. Dunk. The Inferno, chat. The Inferno burns bright. The Blood Chiefs are thirsty, though. Alright, one more big dragon, please. Get our one-pointer in here. Basic forest, onto the battlefield, tap, then shuffle, learn. Seems pretty playable. I really wish they would have given us just like a 4-card learn board or 4-card wish board. So these learn cards were better in best of 3. They've been really sweet to play with in best of 1. And it makes me sad that you have to give up sideboard slots to access them in the multi-game formats. Make a treasure. Learning better than the second land with Cultivate. Is Cultivate still in Standard? It probably depends on how high your deck is ramping, I would imagine. Oh, I forgot about this. Yikes. Cultivate is not legal. Okay, I didn't think so. Well, we get to put another dragon into play next turn. The question will be if they have another Doomblade. Dr. Pavid, thanks for the 4 months. Welcome back. Good afternoon. Mascot Parade is here. Hey, thanks for the sub gift, J-Dubs. I assume they have the sack a creature, kill a creature in their sideboard here. Oh, just Annihilation. Sure, I get to draw a card at least. Glass half full. Okay. That's heckin' rude. They gave me a toy and then they swatted it out of my hand, chat. One Cadillac, please. They got me to my Cadillac faster. This card's real good. Definitely a format staple, I think. Huh. I would be surprised if Wish is super playable. Just because you have to cast the card right away with it, which means you have to be... Wait, with Wish, it doesn't put it in your hand, it just says you get to cast it this turn, right? Which is a very different power level than something... Which is a very different power level than something like Fae of Wishes, where you can pay 4 mana one turn and then cast the actual spell you're getting the following turn. Man, do I want an extra cat token or do I want a treasure token? I think I'm making a cat token. Yeah, we can sack the treasures to the lantern. The problem is they're going to get to lantern us a bunch. I think this block is wrong from them. I think they're supposed to trade the 3-2 and the 1-1 for that. So that way their 4-4 can block the rest of my stuff. Actually, maybe I'm supposed to hold that land in my hand to discard to discard to this. I don't really need the mana. Both my dragons are out of my deck at this point. Yeah, maybe. I guess they're technically dead on board here, huh? Even as is. Oh no, they have a Hydra. So if I attack with everything, we trade off. Their Hydra eats the Longboat, and they take 2, down to 2, and it leaves me with. Like, this trades here, this chump blocks. I have 2 cats plus a Magda left over. I think that's the play. Just gotta hope they don't have a removal spell. Their creature land, definitely doing some work here. Hydra hiding over here. Making them activate the Hydra makes the lantern a bit worse for the turn, so. Do they have a removal spell as well? Yeah, they killed both our dragons, in fact. We've been through both our Infernos. So they drew a removal spell? Friendo. Alright, so opponent decided to die. I don't know that we were out of that game if they take the correct blocks, but those blocks definitely weren't correct. Whoopsie poopsie. They didn't realize that I was gonna get to choose between there. Well, to be fair, the eye wouldn't have really shown that what was gonna happen there, even if Magic had one Niv, because I had a choice to make. Okay. They could have made me sack in response to the crew. Technically, yes. I could have crewed again, but that would have left me with one less attacker. Rude. Three-color mana bases felt awful. This one's felt mostly functional off of the fact that we have both Magda to make treasures and we have the one drop. Whatever that one's name is. I'm gonna pump this one up to a 3/3 so that way these can both attack into Faceless Haven profitably here. I don't quite know what they're building up to, but it's probably gonna be scary, huh? Ranger class is very good. This is definitely the best of the classes. It's not particularly close. No, I put a counter on the wolf. And then it's just like impossible to race from here, right? This is about to draw them a bunch of cards. Yeah, I don't know how we ever win from here. They have face down cards, either a counter spell or an extra turn spell, and we probably can't beat either. I guess we play the Inferno out on defense. Is the game plan here? Because it can't be countered and it blocks. And I guess we'll attack with this, because it's a 4/4. Yep. Yep. Divide by 0 and Time Warps have just been tempoing us to hell and back in these matchups. The games have not felt close. And I assume they have a Time Warp here since they attacked with both their dragons? No, huh? Okay. Does that mean this is a counter spell? Yeah, classes are just enchantments, but we make out. They're not legendary or anything like that. And this is a spirit that doesn't fly, so even if I play this on defense again, we're just dead. This deck was neat when it got to do its thing. However, the Blue-Red's Dragons deck is definitely proven to be the most popular early deck in the standard 2022 format, and we played against it 2 or 3 times in that set, and none of the games felt particularly close. The Dragons deck's mix of cheap interaction, picking apart our key cards that we need to live for our synergies, in combination with their ability to close out quickly with Goldspan Dragon into often multiple extra turn spells, meant that we just didn't really have a chance in any of the games. So, I think this deck's kinda cute, but as long as the blue-red deck is a deck that people are playing in large numbers, this is not deck I think can be tweaked or adjusted to be viable competitively.